All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our Wednesday afternoon meditation class. As we're sitting here, I'm going to set my watch so that when we're ready to go, I'll be able to kind of keep everything on schedule. And so that will be that. So we'll do that. All right. Today I have been thinking about a couple of different things. Some of it comes from the conversation I had with my class this morning, and it's only the third class I've had with them. And so we saw kind of new people coming in and out. So starting really at the beginning. But the other comes a little bit from my discussion with my Trident Technical College class, where Kayla was actually at that class yesterday. And it sort of plays into a little bit of some of the reading that I've been doing and studying. And one thing about also being stuck in the house over the weekend because of the weather, I did get to do a good amount of reading and some video watching. So sort of all of that kind of comes together for me. But yesterday in my class, we were talking about overthinking, or we got into a conversation having to do with overthinking. And in doing some of my study and reading, among the things that they talk about is how our minds um, kind of function in this way where we sort of get on a train of thought. We got all these things going on in our lives, whatever they are, personal anxiety, to-do lists, other people making demands on our time for whatever sort of things they are. And our minds kind of go into overdrive and they sort of go through this sort of rapid succession of movement, 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 movement. And today I was watching a video, and one of the things they were talking about at in the video today was this idea about how to sort of put ourselves in the middle of the flow. They use the metaphor kind of a moving river or a rapid moving river, and you put yourself in the middle of that river, and you kind of recognize what's happening, all this movement, all this thinking, all this kind of what the Buddhists refer to as the monkey mind, sort of just zipping around, and you start to separate yourself from it to see the movement of your mind, to begin to slow it down and to separate kind of what you start to feel from that movement, whether it be anxiety, whether it be feeling overwhelmed, whether it be feeling like I don't have enough time to do all of this, fatigue, whatever those things are, and you sort of slow it down. So I thought all of this was interesting because it was all sort of coming together at once. And I know that I struggle oftentimes from a mind that just sort of won't quit at times. And so one of my own struggles is to slow my thinking down and not get into this sort of internal free association situation where this idea pops into my head and then I go down that rabbit hole, and this idea pops into my head and I go down that rabbit hole. And so, the in talking about meditation, it was about the recognition of that, the slowing that down, the separating out sort of the feeling that emerges from that, from the action of your mind, and sort of seeing these things in their individual pieces so that we can begin to anticipate as they're coming. And rather than wait till the sort of the current in the water, as the speaker sort of defined, sort of kind of roll, sort of knocks you over, sort of like you're at the beach and a big wave comes up and it sort of knocks you down, that you can sort of get into calmer waters before that happens and sort of gain some sense of control over kind of what's happening, and gain some sense of calm and contentment, and our actions then sort of follow suit. So I thought that was kind of interesting and how all those things come together. And so that was on my mind. And when I was trying to put the meditation in my mind today for that, I was trying to think of, sort of how do I lead us through that? And I'm not really sure how will come out because I'm not really sure the answer to that question. But here we go. So welcome, Faith. And so I'm going to get us started. I'll start the clock. We'll go for about 20 minutes, give or take. And then we will go from there. All right, so as we begin, we settle ourselves in, we close our eyes, we sit in our seats, and we become very in tune to all the sensations around us. We feel the seat as we sit. I'm sitting in a desk chair. I feel the softness of the seat. I feel the armrests where my arms or my elbows are really laying. I feel the pressure on my body, and I feel the little cushiony area. So just sort of set yourself into whatever place you're sitting and focus your attention on all the sensations, the tactile sensations that you are feeling at the moment, and kind of settle in, almost as if you are connected directly to the chair and your seated position and what you are seated in, so that you are almost become one with it, that the sensations on your body are connected to the chair, which then is connected to the floor and connects to the rest of whatever is around you. And as we sit in this environment, as we sit in this place, we slow our thinking down, we focus on our breath, and we slowly take a breath in. And we breathe in slowly. We feel the air come in through our nostrils, around. We feel the exchange from the in-breath to the out-breath. And we allow ourselves to take a few breaths in that manner, trying to focus our attention, always remembering that if our minds wander, if we are hit by that torrent of water that our mind can be, if it comes at us, we recognize everything coming at us. And we come back to our breath to slow it down, to move ourselves into the present moment, to keep ourselves grounded in the present moment. And as we sit and as we take our breath, we know and we recognize what it is we bring with us today. And we allow whatever to arise to arise. We don't pull at it. We don't search for it. We don't think about what it is that we want to allow to arise. We try to let thinking go. We try to see thought almost like a puff of smoke or a cloud. And rather than walk into it or try to grasp on to this idea of thought, we just let it puff away, blow away, float up into the air. And we allow whatever is within us to arise. And as it arises, we sort of see the speed that it's moving. We see how it arises. We watch it sort of formulate itself. We see the thought, the feeling, the emotion, whatever we've brought here with us today. We look at it, we see it, and we try to really focus on trying to isolate the singular thought, the singular feeling, the core of whatever arises. Is it joy? Is it stress? Is it fear? Is it some injunction that somebody told you a long time ago about what you should be, how you define yourself, what's possible? Trying to isolate it at its core, almost as if we are looking through a microscope and trying to identify the gene or the fabric or piece of DNA that decides what our character or what our traits are, the connection to that physical sense, that connection to our parents and those who raised us, and how that trickles through time, and trying to recognize it. How does that feeling relate to our original selves, to our ancestral selves, if you will, to our sense of who we are? And we see that, And we let it spin and we let those things arise. We let them go and we let them float away. And so we sit with our breath and we slowly just meditate on our breath as our object of meditation. And we work to focus our mind, slowing our breath down, slowly, slowly coming in, the exchange, and slowly going out. And so we'll meditate in silence for a minute or so as we just focus on our breath and we guide ourselves and open our mind up. And as we meditate with ourselves, try to just open yourselves up, open your mind up, open your consciousness up to allow whatever is there to enter it. No censoring, no restrictions, and most importantly, no judgment. Let it rise, see it, don't evaluate it, just look at it. Try to see its roots, how it's entangled in you. And then let it go, let it float away. And so we meditate in quiet for a moment. In breath, out breath. In breath, out breath. In breath, out breath. And we settle ourselves and we transport ourselves. We're outside in an open field. Whatever open field that you can imagine, whatever you want in that open field. You can see flowers if it's springtime or summer, wildflowers perhaps, purples, reds, yellows, earth tones. The grass is green. There are bees flying and birds in the environment off in the distance, and we set ourselves there. We lay a blanket down. We feel the blanket. We feel the fuzziness of the blanket as if it's a fleece feeling, but we don't focus on the fleece or the naming of it, but we run our fingers through it and we feel the fabric and the softness and the touch. And we think about what associations arise with that touch. What is connected to that touch for us? How does the sensation of the blanket that we're sitting on, the feeling of it, the colors that we have envisioned in our mind that it is, what arises when that image floats up in our head? And as we focus on what floats up and we see it, we spin it around and we let it go. And as we sit in our field, we start to notice the breeze picks up just a little bit. And the flowers, which were still and pointing sort of straight up into the sky, and the grasses that were pointing straight up into the sky, now seem to be tilting towards us as the wind is coming at us. And we feel the breeze. It's not very intense, just a slight but steady wind. And it comes at us and we feel it, and we can feel the temperature of it. It cools us down on this warm spring day. The sun is warm, but the breeze is cooling. It feels as if it's probably coming off a body of water that is even cooler than the air around it. Sort of like as the ice breaks up north in the spring, and the weather is warm, but there's still coldness in the water. We feel that coldness as the wind blows. And the wind blows past us. We feel it on our skin. Our hair blows in the breeze. Our blanket in the corners kind of rolls up a little bit. And we decide to stand up, and we put a rock on each corner of our blanket so it doesn't blow away, and it flattens out. But we feel that wind in our face. And we start to walk forward, and the wind is coming at us. And with the wind, we notice kind of mist, almost as if there's just a kind of a slight fog that's rolling in, or perhaps there's just some mist in the air, but we feel that moisture and it comes at us. And it starts to come at us relatively quickly. So we grab our sweatshirt that we brought with us and we throw it over our heads and we put it on so that we have an extra barrier to prevent us from the wind and keep us warm in the cold. And we feel the fabric on our bodies. We feel the inner lining of the sweatshirt, which is kind of fuzzy. And we feel a sense of warmth come over us. And the wind continues to pick up, and we try to walk into it. And we walk, and it's not pushing us too hard, but a little bit. And as that is happening, there are thoughts coming up in our mind, feelings emerging from the wind. And we feel the effort in our body. We feel our muscles starting to work harder as the wind is pushing against us. But we continue to walk. Our muscles get a little tighter, especially in our legs, and we have to lean into the wind a little because it's almost beginning to push us back. And it's coming, and every once in a while there's a big gust, and it pushes against us. But we keep going, and we keep going, and we feel the wind. We feel our faces, and the wind drying out our faces and drying out our lips a little bit. We start to feel a little thirsty, a little dehydrated. So we sense that dryness in our mouth. And with that dryness, we notice that an emotion arises. Perhaps it's feeling of discomfort. And we allow that discomfort to arise and we recognize it. But we try not to hold on to it. But we can feel the stickiness of our mouth when it gets dry. And so we walk on. We get to a roadway. And we walk on the roadway and we turn from into the wind, and the road sort of bends around. So now the wind is at our back. And the feeling changes. The sense of how we're feeling changes. Now we're being pushed along as opposed to held up. And so we feel like we're moving quicker. And each step is quicker and moves us forward and moves us forward as we walk down the road. We get to a parking area and we get to a refreshment stand. And in the parking area and the refreshment stand, there's a shelter. And we feel the wind coming at us, and then the wind at our back. And things are blowing around. You can see the trees swirling and the leaves on the trees swirling. And we look at it and we watch it. And we hear the rustling of the leaves. So now there's a lot of things happening. The wind is blowing, the leaves are rustling. We're starting to feel a sense of a slight chill. We feel the mist that is coming in. All these things are happening at once, all moving through us. And so we stop and we look at our refreshment stand that is on our left, and we step inside the shelter. And in the shelter, there's a picnic table, an old wooden picnic table, one like you might see at a state park. And all of a sudden, the wind ceases, or it's blocked. We can still see it out there. We see the trees rustling. We hear the wind moving through the trees. We see the leaves going back and forth. We see the grasses being bent. We can still see the mist, but we're outside of it now. We've stopped. We've stepped outside of the movement of the wind. And we sit down. We sit on the bench, on the picnic table. We look around. We notice that there's a couple of bottles of water that are laid out for anybody that wants them. They're sealed. The thirst is triggered by the water. As we see the bottles of water, we remember, we recall, our thirst arises in us. We pull the bottle of water out. We bring it back to the picnic table. We sit. The bottle of water is in front of us. We take a deep breath to slow us down. We feel some sense of fatigue from our walk. Our muscles are feeling a little fatigued. Sitting feels good. It feels nice to sit. We feel the wood on the bench as we sit. We stretch our legs out. We grab the water bottle, or we pick it up. We feel the plastic in our hands and we crunch it so we hear a crinkly sound. We turn the top and we hear as it opens. We focus on the sound. We unscrew it. We pick the water bottle up and we take a sip of the water. And we focus our attention on the wetness and the sensation of the water as it goes into our mouth, as it covers that dry area. We actually swish it around so we feel it all across our mouth, our tongue, over our teeth, the roof of our mouth, the coolness of the water. It's not cold, but it is cool. We feel the sensation of coolness. And we swallow, and that slowly goes in. And so we focus our attention on that process. And while we're drinking our water, we turn our bodies and we face outside. And we still see the wind, but we notice the wind is slowing. We've stepped out of it. We've slowed ourselves down. We have our bottle of water. We're watching as the wind seems to have subsided. The leaves are moving less rapidly. The grasses are now standing straight up almost. The flowers again are standing straight up. The sun seems to have come out, and so the mist and the dampness in the air is dissipating. We can almost see it floating away, as if the wind that was there took it and now is taking it with it. And we look out on the scene and we sit and we take another drink. We go through the same process. We do it slowly. We do it to savor the feeling of the moisture and the wetness as it enters our mouth. We allow ourselves to feel the water in our mouth, and we feel the water go down our throats, and we swallow. We stop, and we take a breath. We close the cap on the water. We've taken a few sips. Our thirst is a sensation that now is dissipated, and we feel moisture in our mouths. It is a feeling that we associate with comfort and satisfaction, that we're no longer thirsty. But we hold on to the water bottle. It's still half full. We step back outside, and the wind is gone. And we feel the sunshine, and it bakes us and comes down upon us. We feel the heat enter our bodies. We feel it at our core, through our chests. We can envision our heart almost shining from the sunshine outside to the sunshine inside. And we feel the still air and the warmth. And we stop and we take a deep breath, and we transport ourselves back to our chairs, back to our homes. And we meditate in silence for a moment, again following our breath. So we breathe in and out. And we breathe in and out. And we breathe in and out. We drop our shoulders. We release whatever tension we're holding. We watch it rise. We look at it. We see it dissipate. The wind takes it away. And we sit and we focus our attention. Namaste. May the light in me shine in you.